Hey, everybody, I got 7 o'clock. Tonight is the Farmington Town Board meeting for September 23rd. We do have a full town board tonight. Our town clerk is excused. She's training with the fire department, and Sarah will be taking notes for the town clerk's office and for our minutes. First thing on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance, and Ron, would you lead us in the pledge?
Be honored to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next thing on the agenda is to approve our minutes from September 9th.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Mike. Any corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. Privilege of the floor and public concerns are next. Please identify yourself with the address for the clerk. And,
Stand up if that's all right.
yeah, absolutely.
My name is Sierra Price. I live at 6143 Hanover Road. I'm here with my husband, Tyler Rice, my young child, and one of my 4 neighbors that also consort with the same concern. Just as the other one was able to be here tonight. We're bringing to the town's attention that we have a persistent trespassing issue. You can see in the communication, there was a forward of communication, but I hand delivered a letter that I'd like to have acknowledged in the record as well. We're here to discuss that myself and my 4 side-by-side neighbors experience frequent and consistent trespassing on foot, bike, and e-bike. That traffic all derives from the same source. It's all coming from home leasings, Farmington, on the Creek apartments that are just behind our property. Were built about 7 years ago, right about the time that we bought the property. All of the people who are trespassing directly through my yard, they all have the same purpose. They're going to either Mertensia Park or to reach the Auburn Trail. It's the most direct route for them to get there, instead of going around 332 and 41. Over the last 7 years, we have worked diligently and exhausted all efforts to work directly with the property management to try and address the consistent trespassing. They have put up signs. They're also sending notices to residents, but with frequent turnover of tenants, the issue persists and has escalated to e-bike traffic through our yard at high rates of speed, I would add. As I'm sure you're all aware, e-bikes present in themselves a significant safety risk, both to the rider and anybody that they may come in contact with. There's a significant risk of injury. Just last November, there was a fatal injury on 332. Just a few weeks ago, there was a near accident in my own yard, where my 7-year-old daughter here was in a hammock and nearly got clipped by somebody riding an e-bike. Seeing an e-bike on my property has escalated this to a significant level of concern, but I don't want to leave out the fact that over the 7 years, we have grown men on foot coming from that property, as well as children and bike riders. I also want to call out that all of my neighbors and I stand united in trying to stop the kids, being just adults with them and letting them know this is not how you access the property. There's a way to go around. We're often ignored. If they stop, we're lucky. We're all polite and cordial and just letting them know this is not where you come through. It's not safe. I implore you all and invite you to come to our property to take a look at how that layout looks. I have a significant, probably 15 to 20 foot drop off in my backyard where it'll exist. And children like to ride their e-bikes down that. At some point, I'm very concerned that either they themselves will get hurt or somebody in my family will get hurt, or one of our neighborhood dogs or children, because these are kids most of the time coming through either on regular bicycles, completely ignoring our request to stop and turn around or not come through the property. We've called out repeatedly with the property manager these issues. They put up the signs, they send the letters. It doesn't work. It's not stopping the traffic. We've also invested thousands of dollars, all of us neighbors, to delineate the property line by planting spruce trees. That happened about 3 years ago. That helps with some visibility issues, but that doesn't help with the trespassing. In a recent event, my husband stopped a couple of kids, told them they couldn't pass through, turned his back around and continued the construction work we actively have going on in our backyard as well. And they jotted right through our backyard. I was out there with my puppy, and I decided to follow to see where they went, hoping that if I provided an apartment number, that would be more specific. I provided that information as well as all of the video footage that my cameras have captured, since I've invested in those as well. And that was not sufficient. That did not move us along.
Can I just stop you to, who did you provide that to? Okay, thank you.
We've also included every level of senior leadership from home leasing. At one point in time, we were working directly with Megan, who I know now is the CEO of the organization for home leasing.
You know Megan well.
I would hope that our correspondence gets escalated to Megan. There've been some serious failed promises there. We're doing our due diligence to try and keep our property, neighborhood, and privacy protected, but to no avail, we need support. So we are seeking the town's support, and that's why we're here today.
We did, let me just. So I did receive the letter of all the signatures of the neighbors. It is on file here at the town. And then on Sunday, after talking to Dave DeGear, he said, hey, it's not stopping. On Sunday, I did email Lieutenant Kiesel, who's in charge of the road patrol, Sherrill County Sheriff's. I copied in the undersheriff and the sheriff, and Sergeant Higginson, who also works with the road patrol, and he handles the sheriff forces. Pay extra. They use retirees or speeding zones and things like that. On Sunday, he immediately, within a couple hours, less than 2 hours, he sent an email to the road patrol division and copied me in and Sergeant Higginson, and basically said, regarding the people traveling on e-bikes to the private property, if violations are found charging violating property parties, accordingly, and the juveniles have conversations with their parents on the possibility of EWOC or failure to properly supervise. I don't care.
Endangering the welfare of a child,
Endangering the welfare of a child.
be a criminal charge.
Yeah.
I just want to make a note, we did follow the directive to reach out to the sheriff's department, and the messages that followed that I sent directly to you highlighted that we called the sheriff's department out, reported the incident. We asked to provide the video footage so that they could see the kids who were the ones trespassing and were caught on my cameras. They didn't want it, they didn't accept it, and they advised us that there is nothing that they can do when it is private property unless they are breaking into our home, damaging property. When they're children, they.
I work for the sheriff's office and this, I don't know who you talked to, but this.
Yeah.
Right, it's false. You would, my question was, and as crazy as it seems, as you know, most of us here are landowners as well, and you think that it should be intuitive that if it's not your property, you're not allowed. You would be legally required to post the property for there to be a trespass for the land itself, without you having to actually physically stop somebody and say, you are not allowed here. The property being posted would allow for a trespass charge, which is not a criminal offense, it's a violation, but it is something that would be sent to the court. Now, if that were to happen, just legally speaking, the police would have to catch the person in the act because the level of offense, or you would have to somehow identify that person and sign a criminal summons yourself for Farmington court. Just kind of the way the structure works for that is as a trespassing for the property. So the next step, but unfortunately, where you have those trees planted would be that you do need to actually physically post your property. Is it posted?
Yeah.
Okay.
There, the property invested in all of the posting, so that
Is
is,
the home leasing property, have they posted or you have posted
the
your?
home leasing has posted property signs in between every one of the trees. And community,
Something like.
and it
This
says,
is no trespassing
And-
on the property and then.
Does it give and it needs to give like some sort of contact information for the landowner?
yeah, we can post on our own property. It's concerning to me that we followed the directive to report to the sheriff's office, and then it was Burnley, I believe, something close to that name, was the one who came out and advised us there is nothing that we can do. What we're really trying to do is get some action so Dave DeGear's name has been mentioned, he's our neighbor to the left. And he and Carol DeGear have lived in that house for 49 years since the property was originally built. In the 49 years, they've never had anybody trespass on that. It is wholly and exclusively coming from the same source, and what we have asked of that property is that they put up a fence for privacy. It's not just e-bikes, I want to be very clear, while that is a significant danger, and I'm here to speak on behalf of my child and my fellow neighbors to keep them protected. It is not just that, it is an invasion of privacy, so we're certainly, I appreciate the insight, and we're happy to post specifically at when where they can contact
It
us.
would help, it would just, from being able to pursue charges, there, you can have people arrested for trespassing on your property, that is private property, I'm not sure why. You would be told that you couldn't have it. I was, like I said, now, you know, the administration, Lieutenant Kessel's aware and.
It's like a pretty steep route to take for kids, you know, these kids being kids, I get it,
It's
there's
more than
access.
it's not on the parents, eventually, like a lot of times, if there's kids involved, the parents can be
We're not trying to,
dragged in, and once the parents maybe have to pay a fine for what their kids did. Themselves, then maybe it kind of gets the message through, but we have problems with these kids ripping the e-bikes all around our parks too.
yeah, it's not just, I don't wanna get hung up on the e-bike
Yeah,
thing, right? Because that's one factor that's very important one, right? These kids are reaching speeds of 30-40 miles an hour, right? It's a kind of a slight downgrade, so even on a regular bike, I ride my bike scooter sometimes. I can get some pretty good speed going down that hill. And our property is at a direct line with the road, so there's their property and ours. Jessica's on the other side and they face it all the time too, because there's a lot of trees there. And kind of blocks the view from kids moving through, they're trying to be sneaky, not trying to be seen, because they know we stop them. So, but they come flying through there, and that's kind of, houses right there, like I could be mowing and come out back, right, and we're not trying to
it
get
has
them hurt,
happened.
us hurt, and it has happened, they come close. Not to mention our bedroom window is right on the side of the house that they pass through, and we have kids coming through at 1 o'clock in the morning, midnight, I'm sound asleep, and they are 10 feet from my head, walking through my lawn. And we've seen no action from these people out back. I guess we're just here to cover our bases. Thank you guys, and very let you know that we're concerned.
It goes without saying that the obvious solution is put up a fence. We would put up a fence if it systemically resolved the issue. It doesn't. That protects us and then pushes the issue onto our neighbors. Creates a financial burden for 5 people to then have to fence in yards. When the source is exclusive, so what we're seeking is support and the message to be forwarded to Megan and for Megan, the CEO of Home Leasing, to be involved in the support from the town. We certainly don't want to see children have to be spoken to by police, but if that's the measure we have to take, now we understand we're out with posting the property and we can certainly execute on that, but there is a disconnect between the sheriff's office in the town, at least the sheriff that spoke to us, in understanding what the problem is and how we can resolve it. I'm concerned about that.
Yeah, we can work that issue also. We had the same problem in Farmbrook Park and Retensia Park. We had kids destroy the bathrooms. We caught them on camera. The SROs from the 2 different school districts knew the kids. And, you know, deputies went to the parents, and one of the 2, they actually ended up in youth court or whatever because of the dollar amount, and the agreement with the court system is that the family over a period of time had to pay that damage done in one of the bathrooms.
I know a lot of like the Rochester or Rondequoit, right, those municipalities that are dealing with the e-bikes and 4-wheelers on public roads, and that's a constant problem. They have local laws where they can impound those vehicles. I'm not sure how they, but it's getting to the point with it, that's, it's properties all over the county, it's most of the parks, like I said. And my kids playing soccer, and there's kids up in a park riding their e-bikes all over the field, so there's kids trying to play soccer and they just don't care. I tried to talk to one of them and they just took off, like I couldn't catch them.
That's exactly what the video footage shows that I provided. Was my husband is out there with a puppy telling him, hey, don't do that. Our daughter comes around that corner. All that we do, that's our property. We're out there all the time playing. And I have the fear that when I send my daughter to her trampoline to jump on it, she's gonna get clipped by a kid on a bike. Whether it's a regular bicycle, but even then I have adult males coming through my backyard with a 7-year-old little girl that I can't send from my deck to my trampoline while I watch her from the window or from the deck.
Really looking for Home Leasing to be
Oh,
proactive here, It's the reactive delineated property line. Just don't want anything bad to happen.
Just
to-
do-
So,
Is home leasing something that like I think a fence would stop that, but I think fair point. A fence is not gonna stop all the people walking, because they don't dump it, but at least it would.
I think it would seriously diminish the issue. But the point that we brought to home leasing is we appreciate that they have put up the signs and that they have sent notices. Their management changes, their tenancy changes, they are a low income property, they are often changing tenancies. We welcome that they're back there, some of those kids are a delight, they come trick or treating up in our neighborhood and we like to see them. We don't mind that they're there, we mind the disrespect and the fact that they're invading on our privacy and infringing on our right to utilize our property at our free will without people being there.
It's very easy for them to come down Hathaway's Corners,
Exactly.
come out to Mountain Hill Road and go through the subdivision on this the town roads instead of cutting across your property.
Any engineer would tell you the quickest path is a straight line, so they're cutting a straight line, that's exactly what they're doing.
Okay, are they under any kind of special use permit now, home leasing?
No,
Oh, you did reach out also to.
yes, I did talk to Alex, I reached out to Alex after I got included in a bunch of the email chains. She obviously identified that she's talked with probably all of you. I know she's talked to a handful.
She's on.
So, she did identify that. She did say that there was a intent for a meeting between home leasing staff and a bunch of the neighbors this coming up week, I believe.
Yeah, they couldn't meet with us this weekend, we have done this for every year over the last 7 years, we try and meet with them and come up with a solution, none of which is acceptable to them as being a fence, they don't wanna pay for a fence, it's the reality of it. So like I said, we put in thousands of dollars as the collective neighbors to plant those trees as an effort to create a natural delineation of that barrier. But the intent in that meeting, which Nick has not yet to accept, is to speak to them about putting up with it. So we're not just coming to the town expecting the town to resolve the issue. We've been working at this for the 7 years that I've lived there, trying to work with them to get them to see it will escalate, and now it has. E-bikes are now a thing, and the foot traffic and the bike traffic has always been a thing, and it will continue to be a thing. My fear is that we're gonna have an incident and we can't talk with them.
Can we send gold to that meeting?
Yeah, so in my email with her, I did, I mean, I didn't know the whole background other than reading some of the emails. So I did offer to coordinate for town staff to attend that. She did not say that they necessarily wanted us there, but if you guys want us to attend, just please just give me a call.
I will do that. Alright.
Here's a card.
Love to
So
debate.
if you just give us a call, I'll make sure we have a couple staff available that we can meet up with everybody as well.
Okay.
I can't necessarily mandate that they put a fence in, right? I get it. It's a lot easier for a corporation to do it than all, 5 of you. I understand that,
Yeah.
but sometimes having other individuals there might help. move
I
that along.
appreciate the support that you've extended. I will personally send you the invitation once I see that Nick Vasquez, who is the regional manager above Alex Russo. Alex is not sufficiently handling the problem, and Nick Vasquez saw it upon himself to step in to handle it. So we will certainly invite you to that. We would appreciate your support,
Absolutely.
whatever that might look like. Jess, did you have anything? I know you're trying to add to the comment.
Yeah, it's just thinking some of the examples that were shared, if it's a park and it's like there's some bathroom vandalism and it's tough, cause we were all kids at one point and we all know we wanna get to our friend's house or we wanna get to the park, and so I don't equate it quite with that kind of vandalism, but there's real safety issues that they as children or young people just aren't thinking of. But with the turnover, like there's so much turnover back there that some years are better than others, but then you have a whole new set of families, right? But even if consequences do come into play for particular parents who are like, oh geez, now I gotta pay some money, or they're impounding your bike. That's only gonna last as long as that family's there and there's a new family with another set of kids, and I think home leasing, they've been, at one point, the signs went up, this was a few years back, and it was helpful for a minute. But then the next year, it always takes us to notice, here it comes, And then we have to figure out who still works there and who knows where those signs are.
You go
and
back there,
put
the
them-
signs are
so
knocked
it's-
down, but
Yeah.
some through the rip them out, throw 'em.
So, I feel like we've all been doing what we can for many years, and now you throw the e-bikes and it's just getting scary.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
I feel for them, especially the little one.
I know you signed in, but can you just test their
Oh, yes.
name and address?
Yeah, Jessica Brumbaugh, my husband Tim and I, they live at 1403 Creek Point. Oh, any support here would be great. It's pretty crazy to be in your yard weeding like, literally people there, like, right there,
Or in your bedroom,
constantly.
look right outside your bedroom window and 5 feet from you, there's 2, 3 kids walking through and
Pretty crazy.
some of these kids are bigger than I am. So.
And I checked the cameras on our parks, you know, between 9 and 11 o'clock at night, and one night I saw 5 in Hortensia Park in the ball field, but by the time the sheriff got there, they're gone.
Yeah, the same happened at our place. We had, the state police responded one day, very kindly and showed up and. Unfortunately, he sat there as long as he could and nobody came through. They're gonna come through. I can almost clock them consistently, cause my cameras catch them, often. They come through, one of them to catch the bus, most of them to go meet their friends, it's weather dependent when they're coming through. But it's to and from until dinner time, and then you get the teenagers who are out later. And I get concerned with the older kids get, the more they act up and the more they're willing to try things out. So Dave and Carol on the left of us, so Hanover runs into Creek Point to be clear, all one road. To the left of us, the DeGear family, they were also impacted by the hailstorm. They just had to put in all new gutters, and the gutters got crushed by somebody cutting through that yard on an e-bike one day.
If they see us out front, they'll go
They'll
to their
super-
property between Ernie or them, or over to Jessica's, or even further if they're out, so it's.
Dave's actually here in a meeting down the
That
hall.
was truck out
Yeah,
there,
it's,
and
you're gonna have that truck anywhere.
So I would have you provide some timeframes that is the most activity, send that to Augie.
Okay.
We'll communicate that to the police agency also. The enhanced law enforcement they have are retired deputies, and you might be able to they're normally in a plain vehicle. We might just actually, we get some good times, is the constant times that we might be able to have them sit in the neighborhood too.
Again, like, there's so many of them,
Yeah,
and it'll just keep turning over. So,
Yeah,
it's the nature of our setup of where the land is and where properties exist. A fence just seems like the only way to at least get the bikes to stop going through.
or at least make it a lot harder.
Yeah, or like make it clear, like, this is.
Just
it is an obvious statement without having to send a letter to a tenant. Then if there was a fence up and the answer was you need to call the sheriff's department, somebody's trespassing, they're making a diligent effort to try and come onto my property, then I'm going to pound it down and make sure I get the right people. And hold them accountable. But this is just, we're fair game. I genuinely implore you to come and look and take a look at what we look at in our backyards. We are subject to all of those residents coming through whenever they feel like it, and I know my husband covered it. He's back there working on a deck, and there are construction materials all over to the side of our yard, and, you know, he's as concise as he can be with the piles of material, but these kids are cutting through and they have no idea what we're doing, what we're working on. There's always some sort of project going on. I have a little one that leaves things lying around all over the place. Somebody is going to get hurt at some point. And I think Augie, you joining in on the meeting with home leasing would be probably the most effective step in getting that attention called to a permanent solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that's a good step. And like Nate said, the signs are the big thing. You say they should have a contact on them?
Yeah, so most of the time it's obviously like for company property, but without it's like I said.
Right,
We've owned hundreds of acres, we've owned hundreds of acres in Farmington for, generations. And we have to post the property saying this is not your land, you're not allowed out here, and if you don't have that, then somebody can't be charged for trespassing on your property until you have physically confronted them, told them to leave, and they refuse. But
50 kids coming from all different.
So, but the other thing there is that posting the property could also, and just to protect yourself from like a liability standpoint,
Yeah,
if somebody
that's
does
part
get
of-
hurt on a property that's clearly posted, no trespassing. It's, I mean, just, should somebody, unfortunately, people can sue you when they trespass and get hurt on your property.
No, I have
If
no
they
issue
are-
with posting,
If
that
it's
is,
posted, it protects you more.
yeah,
And it would be one of those things from a police standpoint, if we can catch somebody in the act and it's clearly posted. It's every 500 feet, so you
Yeah.
guys just have to do one sign and do all the neighbors like across the trees.
that'll be so easy for us to do, and we wanna be clear, anything that's easy to do and affordable, I mean, we've invested thousands of dollars in trees, we can easily go buy a pack of posted signs off Amazon, we'll do that. Part of what we're trying to cover is personal liability and, but beyond that, it's not just about holding kids accountable and getting their parents sent to court, it's getting a permanent
Some
barrier.
people are trespassing in a field of ours and.
Yeah,
These are
Actually died
contact
and they tried to
information.
sue the family, but we thankfully got it all legally posted. But it's, if it wasn't,
What sort of contact information on our posted sign should we have?
just the, you can just put the name and the address of who the landowner is. So
okay,
it's already, it's pretty obvious, like, just your name and
Yeah.
if you want, or whatever, you know, whatever that address. is.
Okay.
As far as, so if they want to contact the landowner for permission, but yeah, that's, you don't have to put a phone number.
okay, that seems easy enough, I mean, we have done whatever is asked of us, the point to make is we will do all of the things, we'll call the sheriff's office, we will post the property, we will send the emails, but I cannot stress enough, it is not the lasting solution there. And we hope that, you know, you all as prospectively, I'm making some assumptions here, but some of you are probably property owners and parents yourself, and I hope you can understand that I have a duty, not only to this little girl, but her two boys, and our dogs and family in general, and the children ready to play, so. We'll certainly follow through on posting the property and make sure that the liability end is covered. Augie will invite you to the meeting, but. I would not be surprised if that doesn't result in sustainable solution unless that fence goes up.
So as an example, we have a problem resident in Farmbrook. And I've met with the neighbors and also engaged the sheriff's office. And basically is like, I call the non-emergency number every time there's a trespass. And create a record. And then, especially if you have cameras and you follow the pictures, it's all part of the file. Not only for the individuals
Yeah.
trespassing, but also for home leasing, you know?
I don't know if Nathan, you can provide where we can send that email, but when I called the non-emergency line, whoever was there receiving the dispatch, not only didn't believe that the children were going to Mertensia. When I told him that's what they do, he was very confused about where our property was, but he couldn't provide me somewhere that I could send the video footage. I have the photos and the videos. Unfortunately, when my husband was a state correction officer, I was there alone dealing with this problem of people walking by my bedroom window at night. So I made a point to invest in those cameras and I have that footage, but nobody is willing to accept it.
I'm not sure if they use it anymore. We used to have the ability to share like an upload link and then you could just literally upload files to Axon, which is the body cameras.
Okay,
And it could be added to like a case file. I don't handle road links. I did drug tables, so this is a little bit, not what I do anymore. Yeah, I think the road patrol still has the ability. At the very least to do that, or to provide you with a flash drive to save it, copy it over when you do that and. If you provide, I also used to work at school. If you provide decent video, the resource officer or the campus safety director. They got most of the kids on campus by their walk.
yes,
He knows the students pretty well. Could identify them based on the video, but most likely all. Probably all their distance and.
I mean, for context, I walked right to where they went in the door and I took a picture of the building and said, it's this building and it's this apartment number, Alex Russo. What can we do about that? And she came back and said, I don't know if it was them. And I said, I am an eyewitness, I watched them disrespect my husband telling them not to come on our property. I followed them on their bike and foot and I saw the apartment they went in, this is where they were residing. And she said, well, we send notices. So
Obviously, the sheriff's pretty responsive. For emailing them, we reach out to him and get a little advice where we can send the stuff to.
Yeah.
Get his guidance a little bit, I don't think it's gonna be one quick fix.
No.
No, I
But if
agree.
we can go at it from a couple different angles here, I
Right.
think maybe we can.
Building a case.
Yeah, any
Any
support is appreciated, we appreciate that.
But the sheriff is usually very responsive.
Yeah, I have to say, anytime we've ever made a phone call to any non-emergency line, somebody always shows up, so we appreciate that they are coming out. There's some confusion on apparently what they feel they have the authority to do. So if there's a single source where we can be not only making the phone call, but sending that evidence to be added to a file, we would appreciate it.
I can build that quickly.
Yes, that was, we keep them busy.
All right. Just don't look at front. Don't follow.
I know that made me. look
Doesn't that
nervous.
feel invasive to be followed to your home?
You don't know what.
No, I mean,
Tracy
he's
thinks
he's
that-
here for you.
No, I understand. My point is, it feels invasive, right, when somebody's coming on your property.
Sure.
And
it
they,
is.
they should, I would hope that these parents are teaching these children the same way. My
That's
husband
the
and-
issue right there, the parents.
Yeah,
That's it.
I don't know. We grew up in the North Country where things are very, very different, and this is not how you treat people's property.
Where's the North Country to you?
Champion.
I'm from Evans Mills.
Well, you can understand then.
Natty Bridge here.
Ed, you wanted to say something?
Yeah,
Other parts of the city.
my name's Ed Hemmings, I'm the chair of the planning board. And it's very important that you also let staff know about things. And so that they can go in the record for that property, because heaven forbid they ever come in and want some type of change to their property. The planning board can turn around and look at things like history of issues and other things and see if we can resolve things. So I don't know if these guys will ever come in for a change to their property. But if it's on the record, we then would have some ability to possibly help. So just, I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be every single time, but once a year, send a summary of what's going on to the building department so they can put it in the file, so they can yank it out whenever something happens or they want to expand or do whatever.
We appreciate that.
Just
Yeah,
a thought, just to keep in mind, because if we don't get to see it, we don't get to address it.
well, we can certainly build up a case there as well, and we appreciate that.
No problem.
That insight you have to offer.
The Huggy would be the same contact and his
Yeah.
boss, Dan.
Well, we appreciate that. Just another note that's come up in my memory of like safety related issue, right? Kids not on e-bikes, not on bikes. The one who consistently comes through was coming through my yard one day, and I had called the Ontario County Humane Society because there was what appeared to be a rabid squirrel or a raccoon that had fallen 50 feet out of our tree. Big giant tree in the back, and it did not look well, and I was waiting for them to show up, trying to do my job, and I look and I see a kid walking directly in the line of where this raccoon is. And I run out, scream, my deck is torn off my house, I open my door screaming to the kid to stop and have to run outside barefoot and tell him, there's a raccoon that might have rabies right there, you need to get away from it, the Humane Society is coming. So just another example of all sorts of issues or examples I could give you of prospective danger, but, we'll follow all of these avenues, so thank you, Augie, and for your advice on, communicating with the planning board. If we can get, Stephen, to your point, a resource, directly from the sheriff's office where we can be sending those files, we're happy to send them over, and,
Do that.
all right.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Anybody online, public concerns or privilege of the floor? Okay, we're gonna go to next on the agenda, report sustaining committees, the works.
Yeah, and the water and sewer side of things, they're continuing with general building grounds, cleanup and organization. On sludge, about 2 loads, 2 days a week. Did install some permanent piping for a groundwater sump they've been using. Power outage the other day on 9/16 did cause some issues. throughout the system, and they've been troubleshooting a bunch of them. Champion Asphalt Maintenance, they're scheduled to come in and do some sealing work for us, October 7th through the 10th. Been working with Ewing Graphics, on some graphics for some hot boxes at the plant, some new signage over there. Had an internet outage on the 17th, which was most likely due to the power outage on the 16th, but we had to have some help come in to resolve. And sewer flow meters, they did a check with MRB earlier this month. Ongoing, they've been doing fire hydrant descaling, priming, and painting as time permits. Did have to replace a water service over on Short Road. Helped out the town of Canandaigua with televising some of their storm sewers at the highway facility there. Did some asphalt repair, County Road 8 and Town Line Road. And also been working on the grass restoration in that area. Had a new pickup truck that had to have a new backup camera installed on it. Also did some sewer televising in the Burger King, Aldi's area. There's some looking at a possible repair that needs to be made over there. Over at the new water tank, painting on the outside is pretty much done. You'll also see there's a new Canandaigua Farmington Water District logo that has been applied to two sides of the tank. And there was also a couple meetings with a couple residents for possible backup issues that ended up being on the resident side of the system. And also an order of complaint in Victor. On the highway side, doing their final round of roadside mowings, did a couple catch basins and culvert pipe over on Hathaway Drive. Had some trucks helping with Victor and Phelps. They also assisted the water department with the paving on County Road 8 and Town Line. And they've also been cleaning some drainage swales on Fraser Way. Had some signs get knocked down due to motor vehicle accidents on Hook and Colette and also over Hook and Green that they replaced. And they've been doing some wedging on Payne and Colette Road, also working on Herondine Road, digging out some bad spots, milling some areas and getting ready to pave that. On the park side, still ongoing mowing with the parks and trails. Fields are getting used, so grooming, striping. Cut some trees down over in Farmington Grove Park. And reported some playground installers for the new equipment over on the Grove. They've been laying that out and getting ready for the new place set to be installed there. You'll see out in the parking lot, Town Hall parking lot was sealed over this past weekend and striped. And they've got one resolution on the agenda that we can talk about later on.
All right, thank you. Town operations.
Town operations, Smith, we have 4 resolutions that we will talk about later. The town board will be receiving a draft of local law at the next town board meeting to amend chapter 144, which is land subdivision, 65 is the zoning law, so we start the formal adoption process. There's nothing new on the fish solar farm, and there's nothing new on the Farmington market centers, status quo. Cook properties, town board received the latest amendment for the overall concept. It's outside in the foyer if anybody wants to look at it, and staff will be preparing local law establishing the requested site amenities and the proposed zoning incentives and conditions of approval for the proposed zoning rezoning for its review and consideration at the October meetings. The comprehensive plan maintenance report is out now for the years 2023 and 2024. And is receiving the planning board's recommendation to accept the report and amend Appendix 6 of the 2021 edition of the town comprehensive. The Ag Committee will be meeting October 23rd. Hal's not here, so we don't have anything to report on that. Town code will be report later. Town operations committee is posted on today's website, and planning board chair and also the town director of planning will give his report also. One other thing, the environmental conservation board will be amending portions of their draft update to the town of Farmington Open Space Index, and we should get that submitted by the next meeting.
Great, thank you. Reports of other town officials, supervisor. Today, Parks and Recreation, myself, met with Victor Lowley. They're already started improving the ball field at Grove Park, first one. They had an intention of going over to Farmbrook and doing the baseball, softball field in that location. But after talking with our Parks Department folks, decided to not do that one because of drainage problems. So the Victor League is at their contractor going to do the second baseball / softball field at Grove Park. And like I say, he's already on site doing the first ball field, so it just be very easy for him to hop over and do the other. And then Farmbrook we requested a drainage study for all the Farmbrook subdivision. And so it might be 27 or 2028 before we can actually look at the ball field at Farmbrook and make improvements to that, because we want to make sure we fix the drainage. Tomorrow I'm at Carroll County again for our government house and insurance committee that I chair at 12:30, and at 3:00 is the Ways and Means Committee, which I'm a member of. And then the newsletter, all the staff is giving my secretary the newsletter, and that'll be going to the printers tomorrow. That's all I have. Wayne Park, Sean, welcome.
Thank you. The stripers were back in town finally on Friday, September 19th. They did only do roads that had no stripes on them at all. So any of our resurfacing projects that we did over the summer, our stone and oil roads and Hook Road. We haven't seen them come back yet though. And so they still haven't finished up the first full round yet. The 10-ton weight limit signs were put up on Wyburn, Rushmore, and Fox Road. They do seem to be working for the most part. A couple of times we've been through the area and trucks were starting to go down it, and then they saw us there. And so then we heard them select new gears and keep going down the road. But if we had to, we'll contact the sheriff's office and let them know about that issue if it does persist. But it has significantly reduced the traffic on those roads. Tomorrow morning, the town of Canandaigua is coming to bring their paver out, and we'll be doing that dead end of Sheldon Herendeen Road tomorrow morning. And then the last one was just that the hazardous waste event was held this past Saturday at the highway campus, and it was very busy.
Yeah, I understand. I stopped over Saturday and talked to the folks, and they said the contractor got started a little late, which backed up the traffic out onto Hook Road. And they had 626 people signed up for that hazardous waste. So they were still there at 8 o'clock at night loading the tractor trailers and all the stuff that they collected during the day, but ended at 3 in the afternoon. Like Sean said, very successful. Clerk.
So I have a webinar on Thursday for the legal aspects of our records management. Michelle's been officiating a lot of weddings. She has 4 this month. I think she has another one by the end of the month. And just preparing for water bills to come out with us being down.
You want the water and sewer bills to be in the mail.
They went to the post office today.
And you're next, here.
Right. As Steve mentioned, the power outage on the 16th brought to light some issues at a couple of our pump stations. We're working with a contractor to get some quotes on replacing some equipment and adding some equipment so that we can have backups to our backups, belt and suspenders, so to speak. We will be assisting the Village of Victor, myself and part of the staff, on the 25th with removing and replacing the influence screen at their wastewater treatment plant. They have offered to assist us with lots of other tasks and did assist us with a big issue back in April. So this is a payback to them for offering us assistance. We had a lighting contractor come in and tour our wastewater treatment plant and pump stations today. There is a rebate program that is expiring this year that will allow us to get some new high efficiency LED fixtures for a lot of our facility that isn't already upgraded at no cost. And then we will be figuring out the installation later. We'll likely do some self-install, and some of the areas are difficult to access. We'll get the assistance of a contractor. We've been working with and assisting the contractors around town at our various construction projects on North Road, on Cranberry Drive, and at the Route 332 water main replacement job. Yeah, that's it for me.
All right, thanks. Building and zoning.
As Mike alluded to, a couple resolutions. We have 3 that are encompassing for training for members in our office. One resolution, which we're all excited about, is hiring for a secretary of the planning and zoning aspect of things. And she is scheduled to start Monday, the 29th. She does come with experience in the planning and zoning side of things, so that should be she should be riding a bike without training wheels, which would be nice. No pun intended, based on earlier conversation. Continue to work with EMS, Victor Farmington Ambulance, with certain calls throughout the town. And there was a structure fire or a kitchen fire this past weekend on Jensen Court, and the town of Canandaigua Code Officer Mike Murphy provided coverage for that and a follow-up report for us to follow up with. Again, discuss the staffing for the new hire. Her name is Elizabeth. Dan he confirmed with me earlier today that he will be back October 1st. So, yay. Another item, Terrace Apartments. We did some, we had an on-site meeting yesterday, myself, Aaron, and Chris from Water and Sewer. Worked with them on some measurements and so forth. So everything's looking better out there. Still work through the new iWork software platform. Everything's going very well there for the most part. Still a few minor hiccups that we're dealing with. And I just got the operating permits online and functional. So the mobile home community operating permits should be submitted soon. One was actually submitted later today after this morning's meetings. So we'll be able to assess the fees there and then issue that. And then the last thing that came in a little while ago, a few hours ago, there was a solar project concept on Route 96 where the Powerhouse Ironwood technology property is. That's just to the west of the future Victor Farmington ambulance base. They came in, met with Ron, myself, Dan, maybe Ed, I'm not 100% sure, to discuss the project, and then it went silent. They emailed that they are looking to set up another meeting with staff because the project is coming back to life. So they want to get ahead of that and make sure they have everything they need to submit. So we may be seeing another solar application in the near future. Aside from that, nothing.
All right, thank you. Planning board, Ed.
Certainly, October 1st is our next meeting. We have 2 items on the agenda: a continued public hearing from Bridges for Brain Injury, as well as a continued public hearing for Adrian Bellis. That's it.
All right, thank you. Ron, Director of Planning and Development.
Yeah, like to piggyback on Augie's comments about the new hire for the building planning and zoning office. I did sit in on the interview. I did review some of the documents that she has done for other communities, and I'm quite impressed. I think she's going to make a good fit. I also want to endorse the recommendation tonight for appointing Susan Charlin to the um, uh, Environmental Conservation Board. That board has 3 certified planners on it, which is phenomenal for the town. And I'll tell you, last night there was standing room only because every board member was present to look at the projects that they had given to them. Other projects that we're looking at, we have a new project, Fairdale Meadows, or Winding Road as it may be referred to, that's coming in. It's the former site over there on 96 that was previously owned by Simmons Rockwell. They have a purchase offer on that land to develop single-family homes. We received this afternoon the 4th update to the Farmington Meadows project, along with their list of proposed amenities and site incentives. And that will start me working on a draft local law for that project. The Myers RV over there at the corner of Matencia and 96 is expressing some concerns with people who are patronizing the adjacent Dollar Tree. And using the Myers site to circumvent the intersection of 96 and Hortensia. And we're working with the sheriff's office and others to put up proper signage and deal with that issue. And finally, I'd like to thank Aaron for sending me the photos, which will appear in the town newsletter and also appear in today's town ops report. I think if you look at the pictures really close, you can see Aaron's feet dangling off of one of those platforms up there. I'm not sure.
I don't do that anymore.
Oh, you don't do that anymore? Okay. That's it.
All right, Ron, on the latest version of the Farmington Meadows, you send that to the whole town board.
Yes, I will. Yep.
Thanks. Bill, town of engineers.
All right, a few updates. Brickyard Road tank has been talked about a little bit. They are wrapping up the coating and the interior of the shaft. And we'll be coordinating actually filling the tank likely next week sometime. So we're working on that. That'll be a big step. The tank will be filled, disinfected and tested, and then drained, and then filled again. That's the process, but
4 million gallons.
yeah, 1 million gallons of water, but Cranberry project is ongoing. They're completing the water main portion of that work. Route 332 is moving pretty quickly, and they're done with the water main on Hathaway Drive, and they just have the Route 332 drill left, right? Yeah. Yep. So we have set up some park maintenance building visits for some of the town board members and staff in preparation for some planning efforts there. And then we're also updating the sewer and water district mapping with a draft parcel-based map, as we've discussed a little bit, and trying to catch up on the goals of the comprehensive plan. So,
For the record, we're going to introduce your guest.
Yep. Paul Savitsky from MRB Group is here. He's just started with us recently, so he's just getting some experience at a board meeting. Kind of see how it runs. So I told him this is best run board meetings that we attend.
Oh, right.
Welcome, Paul.
Thanks so much.
Welcome.
I appreciate that.
No assessor tonight, although she did say that she's monitoring the continued sales. All the sales, 99% of them are over the 2025 assessed values that she put on the town properties. So it hasn't slowed down any. Historian, nothing tonight. Recreation, nothing right now. We do have the coming trunk and treat in October. And Ag Advisory was already mentioned in the meeting 23 October, I believe we said this.
Yes.
Thursday night. Finance, the only thing I got is just a reminder that we'll have the 2026 preliminary budget introduced at our next meeting. And we'll set the public hearing that night for the second meeting in October on the 2026 budget. Communications are on file. Reports and minutes are on file. And you know, go to resolutions. The first one is authorizing the appointment of Secretary of the Planning and Zoning, the rate $21 per hour. That's effective September 29th, 2025.
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Nate. Any questions there? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Two is a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to electronically sign the snow contract with Ontario County.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Ron, that just came in today, so I'm sure to do that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Three is a resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign the Nextiva service agreement for a new phone system at a cost not to exceed $28.93 initially, with a recurring monthly total of $1,087.97.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Nate, second by Mike. Again, we brought that to your attention last week that we had at least 6 votes and all quoted on a 36-month term. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Four is a resolution authorizing the last day of payment for all 2025 third quarter water and sewer services located within the Canada Farmington Water District and the Victor Sewer District accounts as November 3rd, 2025. So.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Steve. And anybody that does not make that date, then the balance goes to Ontario County to collect on the town and county taxes. All in favor?
Aye.
Five is resolution authorizing the budget amendments in the general fund town clerk overtime line in the amount of $500 and traffic control in the amount of $5,000.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Steve. Any questions there? All in favor?
Aye.
Six, resolution authorizing the town justices to apply for justice work action plan grant in the amount of $9,472.25.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Ron. Again, our justices and the clerks do a great job of putting in these grant applications, and they've been very successful over the years. All in favor?
Aye.
Seven is a resolution receiving of the Town Operations Committee's report dated today on the maintaining of the 2021 edition of the Town of Farmington Comprehensive Plan and accepting the Town Planning Board's recommendations to adopt the 2023-2024 Plan Maintenance Report of the 2021 edition of the Town Farmington Comprehensive Plan and directing an amendment to Appendix 6 of the plan document. So.
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Nate. Any questions with that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Eight's resolution appointing Sue Charlene to the Environmental Conservation Board for a term effective September 24th of this year to expire December 31st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Mike, and again, in that term goes to 4 or 5 year increments after December. So they'll be done at our either December or January board, and we look at all those vacancies. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hey, as mentioned earlier, there's a lot of training under $100. Number 9 is abstract 18 to pay the bills. General fund, $110,023.82. Highway fund, $44,037.31. Cranberry Drive water line, $2,771.50. Cranberry Road, $2,771.50. Roof, 33296 water line, $2,665. Water tank repair, $161,466.67. Storm drainage, $3,834. Fire protection district, $11.78. Lighting district, $1,881.19. Sidewalks, $489.29. Sewer district, $95,242.07. Water district, $28,819.57. Payroll deductions, $9,454.10. For total abstract to pay the bills, $463,467.80. Motion by Nate, second by Ron. Any corrections, extensions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. Again, we have 4 different trainings listed there. Before we go into executive session, is there anybody online or in the room here that has any public concerns? Adrian?
Isn't town cleanup coming up in October, the first week or second week of October?
Second week. Second or third week.
It's on
Oh,
the,
it's farther down, it's later in the month?
Yeah.
it's on the sign at the town dump. I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Okay, I just couldn't remember it was coming up next week. Like,
Yeah.
October first week started, it was farther down, so.
Like the 17th or 18th. There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
And that road limit stuff for Fox Road and Holtz and all that, I mean, I think it's not fixed yet.
Right, yeah, it's,
Anyway, you said, I'm just saying that just because I was off last week one day and one of the big trucks was an up trailer going right by, heading
That
back
was-
out towards, Newark or wherever they go, and like,
right. That's one of the ones that we saw, cause we were on Sheldon and going back from doing work over at that dead end on Sheldon Herondine.
yeah,
And we were coming up to Martz Road.
it has gotten less, so I mean, maybe the guys are just catching on, so, yeah. So hopefully over time it'll just go.
Hopefully.
We'll just call the sheriffs and see what happens.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Making a motion to go into executive sessions for 1051F. Medical financial plan of the district preparation of speculation of matters leading to appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal. Removal of a person with corporation. We get started. Mike, second by Nate. It's that PR. On the favor?
Aye.
Great, and then Sarah will adjourn the meeting and.
What road were they on that you
Some
saw?
of the times and everything. All that, I think everybody on board, we ought to be getting.